Amy wasn't like other girls I dated. She had this raw energy pulsing beneath the surface, a wicked laugh that sent shivers down my spine. We met at 27, both of us past those blurry college years, ready to settle down, or so I thought. She was brutally honest about her past. Wild hiccups, bad decisions fueled by booze and the wrong crowd. But when she looked at me, I saw something steady, a flicker of longing for a life outside the chaos. I was a fool to believe it was genuine. Her parents, bless their hearts, were a different breed entirely. Solid, hard-working folk. Her dad with his calloused hands, and her mom with eyes that held a lifetime of unspoken sacrifices. They took to me like a son. I'd spend Saturdays with her dad, fixing up that old porch swing or tackling some plumbing nightmare, while her mom fussed over us with lemonade and homemade pie. The proposal was a no-brainer. Amy, flushed with happiness, her wildness tempered into a radiant glow, and her parents, well, they were over the moon. It felt like I'd finally found my place in the world. Eli was Amy's co-worker, the polar opposite in every way. Quiet, sincere, with a gentle heart that seemed to hum with kindness. Over time, we became friends. That's why Eli came to me the day she got back from Vegas, her eyes wide with a terrible sorrow. Sarah, of course, was that thorn in my side. Amy's old friend from her party days, with a tongue sharper than a switchblade, and this cruel way of calling me boring within Amy's earshot. A Vegas girls trip with her and Eli should have had alarm bells ringing. But Amy had been on her best behavior for so long, I stupidly hoped Sarah's influence was waning. Just tell me, I remember saying, my voice already tight with dread, as Eli stumbled over her words. The club, she choked out. That penthouse with those guys Sarah brought back. Amy, she wasn't just watching. She was. Eli choked back a sob. Oh God, I'm so sorry. My world fractured. The image slammed into me with the force of a hurricane. Amy, with her hair a tousled mess, her eyes wild and vacant, lost in the arms of strangers I'd never even see. Her scent that night mingled with cheap perfume and the stale sweat of a nameless man. My careful, ordinary world was cracking from the inside out. That's when her mom cornered me in the grocery store, her familiar smile edged with worry. Why, dear, why leave our Amy like that? The words poured out, ragged and raw. Sarah, the neon-soaked club, the penthouse, and finally, that brutal image of Amy in the throes of a stranger's touch. Her mother's face crumpled, and I realized she wasn't just mourning her daughter's broken engagement, but the naive image of the girl they thought they'd raised. Then came the storm of texts from Amy, a frantic mix of desperate apologies and accusations that I secretly reveled in her ruin. I never replied. It was her family that mattered now. Their world turned upside down. That chunk of inheritance money they'd promised, gone, donated to a charity. A stark testament that even with their love, enabling this destructive version of Amy wasn't an option anymore. Amy ambushed me after work one night, her eyes wild and pleading. I couldn't even stomach looking at her. The way she fidgeted with her perfectly manicured nails that had no doubt clawed at another man's back less than a week before. Please, she choked out. You have to talk to me. What's there to say, Amy? My voice was cold, cutting through the warm summer evening. Eli sighed all. The defiance flared briefly in her eyes, then vanished. I messed up, she whispered. I panicked, with the wedding so close. It didn't mean anything. Her words were a slap. The lies piled so high I was choking on them. It didn't mean anything. I spat. Messed up. You were with two guys, Amy. Two. She recoiled, shoulders hunched. I was drunk, and Sarah, she pressured me, and her voice trailed off. I just wanted to feel something, like before. My stomach churned with disgust and fury. That feeling she craved, that reckless need burning inside her. I'd been stupid enough to think my love had tamed it. Before what, Amy? Before you'd risk it all. Before the man who promised you forever. Tears spilled down her face now, but there wasn't a shred of remorse in them. Just fear. Fear of the consequences. Fear that the comfortable life she'd weaseled her way into was slipping away. That's when her mom's words slammed into me. That broken look as I told her what her precious daughter had done. In that moment, I understood it wasn't about vengeance. It was about truth. About refusing to let Amy get away with her lies anymore. Sure, I walked away the victor, technically. But walking through that shattered wreckage, past the ghosts of warm Sunday dinners and broken promises. Every step felt like a defeat. Because beneath my anger, beneath Amy's frantic lies, I mourned the woman I thought I knew. Maybe that's the worst kind of betrayal, not just to those we love, but to ourselves.